the
Hello, everybody. We're live, right? Yeah, we are.
poppin'.
All right. I think I'm ready. Let me test
How
this
you
music.
doing? I am ready. You are ready. We're all ready.
I hear that.
Cheering up. Oh, my microphone is not picking up. That's funny. Thank God I checked. There
Okay.
we go. Test. 1, 2, 3. There we go. I fixed that just in time.
I think I'm ready.
I am ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Well, hang on. Let me get the
Let's do
YouTube up.
All right. I had to fix the title because it said Nintendogs 178. It's 179.
Well, never mind. Cancel the show.
Sloppy work, Mike Menotti.
Hmm.
Sloppy work.
What'd I do?
You put 178 instead of 179
He's
fired.
washed. He's cooked.
Where?
Menotti's dead.
on the video.
His brain don't work no more.
I fix it.
Oh, you fixed it. All right. Let's say it says
Yep.
179 for me. Well, thank you. My bad.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
On
your
Steamed
list.
Menotti's. All right.
Execute.
Get me out of here. Yes.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
I watched. I ate that. I ate those 2 seasons of Richard, and that New Yorker police guy. Fuck, is my that guy is my soul. I know
I'm
it's
happy for
propaganda,
you.
but I love him.
Yeah. I mean, what can we do? All right. I am ready now.
All right.
Same.
All right. I'll count us in. Gonna go live in 5, 4, 3.
Hey, you guys hear me? Start cheering now! Yeah, let's get this over with. Yeah.
Woof woof. Hi, I'm Mike Menotti, and I am a Nintendog.
Hi, I'm Jeff Grubb, and I am a Nintendog as well.
And we are, I don't know why that as well said, we're the last of the Nintendogs. Today, the Switch sales passed 150 million, but it's not enough, Jeff. It's never enough. An anticipated
Woof.
Nintendo Switch collection of Capcom games, weird way for me to phrase that, got a release date. And
Is that what that trailer
We're here.
was? I watched it, and I watched that Capcom Fighting Game Collection 2 trailer. I was just like, this is hype, and I didn't notice the date.
yes, they gave a date for that.
Hell yeah.
It's May 16th. I'll tell you right now. It's May 16th. You don't have to wait. We'll talk about
Yay.
it later. Yeah, I'm happy about that. But there's the Nintendo financial results happen for the latest quarter. So there's always some kind of fun numbers and things happening around that. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to, get answer some questions from our community today. But yeah, Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't feel great. I started feeling a little, not glum, just down in the dumps and body-wise. My tummy started to ache a little bit during the bombcast, and it hasn't bounced back. Now, the kid's been sick for on and off constantly for the last week, getting various symptoms. I think I might be fighting that off. I thought I already was. Now it's a little bit worse. So I kind of just laid down all evening and was useless. But But I didn't want to miss the show because, as the poet Patrick Swayze once said, pain don't hurt. I could do this show. I'm ready to do it right now.
There you go.
That's correct.
Yeah. I was just too gosh darn funny during Bombcast, huh?
Yeah, it really hurt me quite a bit. Yeah, I was emotionally just damaged by all the good jokes.
I'll try to
tone it down.
that back.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you understand.
Well, I hope you feel better. We'll get going with the show then. We'll have a nice, fun, chill time here. Thank you, everybody watching live. Please hit that thumbs up button. Always helps out. Thank you for the super chat so far. We're going to read all of those during the show, so keep sending them in. It's always appreciated. If you haven't checked out our Patreon, that's at patreon.com/GameMess, correct? Is that how you get there?
Yeah, patreon.com/GameMess.
Yeah, go over there if you want to support us. Gets you access to a few fun perks, including the ability to send questions in for this segment that we're about to do in here. We're getting ready to record a new Columbros on Thursday. There's a new poll for the Game Mess Game Club up right now. So yeah, fun
Some
stuff.
bangers in that one for sure.
Yes, it's full of bangers. The Game Mess Game Club this time around. If you don't know, that's where we pick a game to play through together, then have a discussion. We're having our Indiana Jones discussion on Thursday. Yeah, this time the options are Outer Wilds, Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, and Doom Eternal. All three games on my pile of shame.
Yeah,
I want to get to those at some point.
It's Outer Wilds, right? Yeah, I've beaten that one and love it. I love that game. But I would probably even try to replay it a little bit if you guys do that. And then the other two, this would be a good excuse to finally, especially Doom Eternal, and like getting that done before the new Doom comes out. I would love to do that.
You know, it's funny. I hear so many good things about Outer Wilds, and I want to play it, and I still don't even really know what it is.
Yeah, it's fine.
Good.
That's good.
It seems like it's better that way. All right, Jeff. So like I said, we had our kind of latest Nintendo financial reports here. And Switch sales did pass 450 million, but it was kind of 30% decline. It was less than they were expecting, and they have kind of once again lowered forecast for how many Switches they're going to sell, lowering it by 1.5 million. So yeah, Switch hardware down 30% year on year. Software sales are down 24%. Year over year. Furukawa sort of acknowledged that they didn't achieve the sales plan. So there's some anxiety, like, oh, the Switch 2 better get here. So what's your take on this, Jeff? Is this like kind of bad? Do you think it's just normal? The Switch 2 is going to come? Do you think it was a little weird that they had... We said at the time it was weird those forecasts were so high. Like, man, maybe they have some really, really, really big Switch 1 games still. They had some things for sure, but maybe nothing to justify those pretty lofty expectations for the Switch 1 in year 7.
Yeah, I think that's how I view it. It's like it was just kind of puts that in perspective that was really weirdly aggressive. And, you know, as far as we can tell now, they don't have the software to support what they were trying to accomplish in terms of hardware sales. Not the biggest shock in the world. I think at the time we speculated, well, it's just something we don't know about yet. And it turns out, no, it just wasn't really anything. They had some games for sure. But, you know, software being down 24%, that's probably the thing that has them the most like, hey, let's get this going. Because, yeah, people are going to stop buying the hardware, but people stop, you know, kind of slowing down on spending on software. You know, that's where they really make their money, and they want to keep as much momentum from the Switch going as possible. So, yeah, I think they are very ready to get the Switch 2 going. And obviously, they've announced it now. So the solution is right there, and that thing is going to do really well out of the gate no matter what. So, yeah, this is not a problem, but it's definitely like, okay, they tried to time this as best they could. They probably missed the timing window a little bit for when this would have been the most ideal time to launch the Switch 2, but it's not some nightmare scenario missing this by like getting on the other side and seeing if you could squeeze a little bit more out of the Switch 1. It was a completely fair strategy.
So 150 million, though, there's only two other consoles that have passed that. The Nintendo DS, which had sold, where is this thing? 154.02 million units. Then the PS2, which recently Sony said, hey, that thing actually sold 160 million units. So, you know, there's still kind of the question here, is Nintendo Switch going to end up being the best-selling video game console ever? 10 million more units? Do you think that's something that can happen? Are they going to continue selling these things when the Switch 2 comes out? Is there going to be a bit of a bump when there's maybe a price slash on this thing when the Switch 2 comes out? Or is that even going to happen?
Yeah, I don't know about a price slash, but I think 10 million is possible with one thing in mind. If these new Pokemon games come out and they really are super focused on the Switch, and if Nintendo and the Pokemon Company do some kind of bundle where there is an exciting new Pokemon game and you can get it with an exciting new version of the Switch Lite for your kids, that could get to 10 million pretty easily, actually, I think. Now, whether or not they'll do that or care, we'll have to wait and see. But they clearly have a superpower in Pokemon to continue to sell this system to people who want it. Because Pokemon takes a little bit of time to kind of get up to speed on the new generation systems, and I don't expect that to change, even if they are taking their time to make the new Pokemon games technically better than they were recently. That's what they've said anyhow. I still think they take their time to get to the Switch 2 in earnest. So yeah, I think it's possible. I don't know how much Nintendo cares about that. They made more money with the Switch than the PS2 made for Sony, or even the DS made for them at the time. Switch has been extraordinarily profitable. It's their first system to have 1 billion pieces of software sold. They've never had that before. PlayStation's never had one that didn't do that. So this is Nintendo really finding a groove and then being like, okay, we've had our success, and the way we actually continue that is to worry more about the Switch 2 than trying to meet some artificial number that existed in a very different world when people were spending money on devices in a very different way.
So we have some other fun kind of sales numbers here. In terms of new games, like I said, there weren't any giant releases lately for the Switch, but Super Mario Party Jamboree, which maybe isn't what comes to our minds when we think of giant releases, that game has sold 6.17 million units worldwide in about 10 weeks, was kind of the reporting period here. That's enough to make it the fastest selling Mario Party ever. And when you think about how well some Mario Party games have sold, right? Like Super Mario Party has sold 21 million units in total. So this game is doing well. It just could continue to sell copies for a long time coming, especially with backward compatibility going to be a factor for the Switch too.
And like 2 dudes make that game. Like it's got to be one of the biggest gaps between budget and the amount of return they get on that investment. It is wild. So yeah, and they just had Jamboree, and I still think they probably get another new Super Mario Party out relatively quickly on the Switch 2, because they just want people to have one of those to buy when they buy one for their families. And turns out a lot of people buy Switches for their families, so that's where all that success came from.
Right, because this is that Super Mario Party line, but they also kind of now have the Mario Party Superstars line, which is the more nostalgic remake-y one. So
and they have not cashed that yet, right? They've only done a little bit with that nostalgia factor. They could come back and get a lot more of those older boards done in the new one as well, if that's the path they take.
Mm-hmm. Like Super Mario and Luigi Brothership, 1.84 million units since launching. Considering that that Bowser's Inside Story remake is like the worst selling Mario game ever, this isn't terrible. No,
it's especially for a game that is pretty mediocre in a lot of ways. I think it had some pretty rotten word of mouth. This is okay. I hope they get another crack at it and kind of just like fix some of the fundamentals, because this game could still work. But yeah, 1.84 million is not terrible.
All right, and then we kind of have some like overall updated numbers for the best selling Switch games, which includes Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So another 2.08 million actually. And this sort of, is this for a fiscal year or the quarter?
I think it's for the quarter.
The quarter?
Yeah, because it says the best-selling Switch games as of December 31st, 2024, and then in parentheses compared to September 24th. September 2024.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, geez. So another 2 million units in that quarter.
Again, better than most new video games released. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did way better than that.
That's a quarter that includes the holidays, of course. But man, that's now at 67.35 million copies sold of just Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a game. Just to remind everybody, is a port of a Wii U game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's obviously a lot of those copies are going to be bundled in with the Switch when people buy them, because people love those bundles, and Nintendo keeps doing it for a reason. But it's not like you get a discount when you buy the Switch that way. Well, until recently. Recently they have started doing that, but for many, many years it was, buy the Switch for $350 with a lot of times it was $360 with Mario Kart. So there was no discount at all. and the thing just keeps selling and selling and selling.
Boy, AK in chat just said that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold better in that quarter than the new Dragon Age did.
Yep.
That's what these companies have to kind of. It's not even competing. I'm not competing against it, but boy, it's got to be rough to just look over in that Nintendo fence and see how things are going for them. I mean, gosh, when I think about it, Brothership selling better than Dragon Age is kind of, like we heard 1.5 million players for Dragon Age: The Veilguard, not even sold. And it's like, and like 1.8 million for Brothership. That sounds pretty good now. That sounds pretty good.
Really
now.
puts it in perspective.
Yep, sure does. So 67 million for Mario Kart 8. Number 2, it is a 20 million copy difference, which was interesting, but still 47.4 million copies sold for Animal Crossing New Horizon is incredible. It sold another, of course, the COVID success story is a thing there, but people still buy this game. It sold another 1 million copies in that quarter.
It's just in that pantheon of the games that people buy a Switch for, or the game that they buy when they get a Switch. And that is Mario Party. It's clearly Mario Kart. It's Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and kind of above, Smash Brothers, Zelda, and Mario is Animal Crossing New Horizons, which, I think it did like 15 to 20 million in its first year. And so it continues to it's more than doubled that since then, because it just sells like this, a million more copies in one quarter.
You mentioned Smash Brothers, and that's another one. 750,000, right? It sold again this quarter, and that's up to about 36 million copies now. So that's it's just the best-selling fighting game ever, right?
Well, by far, yeah. It's not even close.
It's just ridiculous.
Yep, not even close.
Breath of the Wild, which is still the best-selling Zelda game ever, that sold another third of a million. It's at 32.62 million copies. Tears of the Kingdom is at 21.55 million copies, which, again, without Breath of the Wild being there, that also would have been by far the best-selling Zelda game, right?
Yeah, by a lot. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And sold another 500,000 units over that quarter. So, one thing you can see, so I said Super Mario Party's big success. You can see how that now only sold about 100,000 units in that last quarter, right? Because there is just that new game there,
right? And it's not like that's discounted by any meaningful measure. So yeah.
Yep. So there you go. Software sales are down for that quarter, right? Because the new releases just aren't as big as we have a Smash Brothers or we have Super Mario Brothers Wonder like they did last year, for example, things like that. But obviously, they did a pretty good job of finding these successful sort of pillars on Switch, and all these games are just going to be able to have sequels on the Switch too, along with just in some cases maybe having a Switch 2 version like we're sort of expecting with Breath of the Wild. Like there's 2 Pokemon games on the top 10 list. Of course, it's just going to be more Pokemon, could be more Mario Party, more Zelda, more 3D Mario, more Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, right? And some stuff that's not even quite on the list that we know still sells very well, like Luigi's Mansion 3, like Splatoon. It's when you look, it's just hard to imagine that they could possibly mess up the Switch 2 software library, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there's a pretty clear roadmap about what they need. But when you look at these numbers, I think in the first year, clearly we're getting Mario Kart, like you said, and but I think you look at this, you're like, they kind of can't go too long without an Animal Crossing. And I don't think they will. I think there will be an Animal Crossing very soon, a year, maybe 2, into the Switch 2 before we get one. And they probably even promise one pretty early and just say, hey, this is coming, don't worry. Because it's just that kind of franchise now. And then, Zelda needs to take care of itself, but Zelda, that's going to be an interesting one, how they approach getting people excited about that. They probably have the remake and stuff. Yeah, but a big 3D Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, an update to Smash Brothers Ultimate Deluxe. And they are mostly set, especially for the first couple of years on that system.
All right, here. I think they're going to be set to Switch 2. But what about the Switch? Even after the Switch 2 comes out, Nintendo is saying that they are still going to support that system once the successor releases. Furukawa kind of noted as much during this report, despite that 30% year-on-year decline that we talked about. Jeff, Nintendo always says, I think most famously is the case with the DS, when they're like, the DS isn't even actually a successor to the Game Boy Advance. What are you talking about? These are two different pillars that are going to be supported. Then you moved on pretty quick. I think everyone was surprised just how quickly the 3DS dropped off when the Switch came out, right?
That shocked Nintendo for sure.
Yeah, shocked Nintendo for sure. So, I think a lot of people will say, well, of course they're going to keep supporting the Switch. There's 150 million of those out there. And recently, it seems like Nintendo does move on relatively quickly here, and they can. Now, there's a lot of reasons why they can this time, because there is backward compatibility. So a Switch 1 game is just a Switch 2 game in a lot of ways. But on the other side of that, the Switch is very much aging hardware. It's hard to get certain games to run on that thing, like, say, the new 3D Mario platformer, right? It might limit you to still be working with 2017 Tegra 1 chips when having that game in mind. So how much Switch 1 support are you really expecting kind of in the couple of years after the Switch 2 releases?
Not a ton. Not a ton. I think there might be a handful of token games get released that fill out the lineup, and stuff that could run on Switch 1 will just run on Switch 1, and they'll just be like, hey, but it works on your Switch 2, and they'll find some way to market that. So it'll happen. But I don't think we get like 2 years in and we get something equivalent to the Bowser's Inside Story remake like we had with 3DS, right? That came out in 2019, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem very likely. If there's something like that, especially if it has like Mario in it, then another Mario Party, sure, maybe that actually does come out for the Switch, because what do they really need to do there? And that could be on the Switch and Switch 2. But outside of that, I think it's probably going to mostly be Nintendo keeping an eye on the future. I think they want just people to think about, oh, okay, well, I can't get that new Animal Crossing game yet, but and I'm not going to buy a Switch quite yet for it, but it'll be there waiting for me, like it has been this entire time for people who are still buying Animal Crossing. When they buy a new Switch now, it's like, hey, we'll put these games out, and they're going to be there, and they're going to be the game that people are playing then, because we're not going to do a ton of updates, we're not going to do a ton of support. I know people complain about that. I think there's something still kind of, I don't know, magical is maybe not the word, but like kind of reassuring that Nintendo's just putting out a game, and I don't have to feel the need to like the fear of missing out, or the fear of having to try to keep up with what they're doing with it. It's just going to be that game when I buy it. So I think Nintendo will want to move on pretty quickly and has a strategy to do that.
Boat Knight in chat brings up a good point here that one reason why you might just want to release games of Switch 2 is because they can combat piracy better that way.
Yes.
Switch 1 is very easy to pirate games for. I don't know if you know this, all right? And that's,
I've never heard it.
Right,
Wait,
and that's
what?
obviously something they were never happy about. So if games are just on Switch 2, and, we don't know what that looks like exactly, but we're pretty sure they're taking a lot of steps to make sure that doesn't happen again.
Oh, yeah.
We say that, watch, it'll be cracked in like a week or something.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Still.
But it'll still, like, it'll reset the timer, and, it'll be a little bit more difficult. That's a huge thing for them. Is a big reason that they were ready to move on the Switch 2 is piracy. That's not a joke, for sure.
All right, so Capcom had a little bit of a presentation today. Nothing huge in terms of new announcements. We're getting a remaster of Onimusha 2. That's coming to a bunch of consoles, including Switch. So that's nice. Of interest to me is that the Capcom Fighting Collection Volume 2, which is coming on Switch and pretty much every other platform, that is got a release date of May 16th. We've been wondering this would come out. They announced this before the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection even released. This is the collection that's going to be including Plasma Sword, Power Stone 2, Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Project Justice, and then Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper and Capcom Fighting Evolution. Boy, am I looking forward to this Power Stone 2 and Capcom vs. SNK 2.
Yep.
Huge heavy hitters for me. Never really played Power Sword or Project Justice that much, and I'm excited to dive in. They did a fantastic job with that Marvel vs. Capcom collection, including on Switch, where I actually got a physical copy of it because I like it so much, and it just works very well on there. So I'm very excited for Capcom Fighting Collection 2.
Yeah, me too. I mentioned, I watched that trailer and I was popping off. That was just a lot of fun stuff. I always was like, oh man, I wish I had Power Stone, had access to Power Stone, had some people to play Power Stone with. Well, all this stuff's going to have rollback netcode. We're going to play a lot of these games.
Yeah.
I think when the first collection came out, MVC2 dominated it, rightfully so. I think when this one comes out, it's like these are games that we can just like throw on and all just kind of play together. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, the fighting game community is definitely going to, like, just like how, in terms of like online matchmaking that mostly revolved around Marvel vs. Capcom 2, that'll be the case here with Capcom versus SNK 2.
Sure, yeah, but I think but I think we'll be able to find some time. We'll make some time for Power Stone in a way that we didn't make time for the other games in the first one.
Well, Power Stone's gonna be so easy for like everyone at Giant Bomb can play Power Stone, right?
Exactly.
It's not that complicated game.
Yes,
it's super fun. Go ahead, Christian.
Oh no, Chef said it. I was about to mention Roll.net Code because that's my life there. Yeah, and you think we're gonna get a new? I want a new Power Stone. Please.
I think it's all possible.
That game is so much fun. That game is just fun. Like you tell me a game to have fun. That's the game. Power Stone 1 and 2. It's just great games.
Absolutely.
This collection.
I am just so, I think a lot of people, including me, have been screaming like, hey, just please port over the first two at least. They haven't had ports since the PSP. There was a Power Stone collection on PSP. And then before that, Power Stone 2 was only out on the Dreamcast. So, the games just haven't been on a lot of platforms. So it is just great to finally at least get them. They're super fun. They're super colorful. They're wacky and interesting. Power Stone 1 was part of that just ridiculously good Dreamcast launch lineup, and then 2 is the one that added 4-player multiplayer. Right, so like after Smash Brothers, are just some of the best kind of party fighting game experiences that you can have.
Plasma Sword, is that the name of it?
Plasma Sword, yes, that is the game that
it's going to be a Star Wars game, but they couldn't get the rights or whatever. That's always cool,
right? Although I think it's there's 2 of them, and this is only the sequel. For some reason, we didn't get that first game, which came to PlayStation. What was that first game called? Star something?
Oh yeah,
Christian. Power Stone.
Star Warrior, Star something.
Star Gladiator.
Star Gladiator.
Yeah, Star Gladiator was the first game, and it was just going to be like a Star Wars fighting game, and you can tell, right? There's just characters that are clearly Chewbacca and Luke Skywalker stuff. Yeah, this is the sequel. And this one was on Dreamcast. There's a couple games like that because Project Justice is a sequel to, again, a game that was on PS1 with Rival Schools. So we got the sequel that was on Dreamcast, but not that. Part of it makes you wonder if we're still getting like some kind of PS1 fighting collection.
Classic, yeah.
Even older school, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like those two and the Street Fighter EX games or something like that at some point. I don't know. But still, I'll take this, right? I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
I mean, it looks great.
Don't know what a gift horse is, but still.
Yeah, no one knows.
Nobody knows. And then a Nintendo music update here. Super Mario World this time, which I guess that wasn't on there yet. But there it is. Weird.
It's some good music. It's a really good video game. But kind of like in a lot of ways, it's the game I think of as the video game. Like that's the one. That's the one that kind of
video game.
Yeah, it's the one that defines them all, I think. That music is also just really solid. Although I saw this, I opened Nintendo Music, excuse me, and then I ended up listening to. I think I went back to YouTube to listen to the trailer music for Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh God,
yeah! I just listened to that with the kids a couple times.
Oh,
saxophone just hits so goddamn hard, and then it ends with the first half of Zelda's Lullaby, which is actually so important to the story and everything like that. I didn't realize they set that up in the trailer. Holy shit! What a good game.
Yep. Sure do like Zelda games. I beat Echoes of Wisdom the other day, so I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But that's a game that also makes pretty good use of Zelda's Lullaby in a lot of interesting ways. So great stuff there. All right, Jeff, that's our news segment here. I want to take a little break. We can come back and read all these super chats. How's that sound, buddy?
Hell yeah.
All right, Breakeroo. Oh, by the way, the NBC collection came out on Xbox earlier today.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah. They finally put it on there.
Oh, right. There was like some weirdness there, right? Okay. Well,
it didn't happen at first. Yeah. So good on them for making that happen.
Yep.
Good on them also. Why? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there was hullabaloo, I guess.
There's some kind of guess. I don't know.
Yo, see me in Power Stone, Jeff. Let's go.
All right, let's do it. I need to get good at that one. When we played at PAX, Mike wrecked us all because he's the only one who knew what he was doing. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn this game and come back and get my revenge.
Were you playing 1 or 2?
2, I think. Yeah, we went to the classic
more wild.
classic game room.
Yeah.
And I went up there and I borrowed it and everything and gave him my ID, and then we went over to the Dreamcast and put that thing in. It was a lot of fun.
Power Stone's interesting because 1 is more of a fighting game and then 2 is more of a party game.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Chef, that Reacher show, that shit is good. That shit is just some like good dumb show.
You're just so close to becoming a dad, dude. You got to be careful. That's a dad ass show right there.
He's just big. He doesn't like bullies.
Have
He's nice to
Have you seen the Tom Cruise movie, the first one?
Yes, I have seen.
I love that one a lot. And then I think the show is like, listen, none of that shit matters. All that matters is he's big. And I'm like, okay, I'm down with that. That's fun. But I think sometimes they like lose the thread a little bit because it's like, oh yeah, it's kind of spinning its wheels.
Yeah.
They announced season 3's coming, and I was like, I'm excited to watch more of that. So that's where I'm at with that show.
It's a even bigger dude in that season.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
I love that. That's so stupid.
Yeah, I love that I skidded about it. He's big, and then bad thing happens to him, and he's sad, but he can't say it or he can show it because he's big. You know what I mean? He's a big dude. He can cry, and I'm like, just cry, dude. And that's the whole show. And he just punches guy and shoots motherfuckers real good. He breaks a lot of limbs. He breaks limbs.
Constantly breaking
He's a good
limbs.
limb breakers. Yeah.
He's a lot like our friend Mike Minotti, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I'll break your arm.
There he is. So threatening.
All right.
All right,
Are we ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Jeff, we're back. Would you like to read the super chat, sir?
Yeah, I got him here. Let's get into it. This is from Big Fresh 37. Have to get this idea out of my head. Happy Virtua Fighter is coming back, but I'd be happier if RGG stopped their flirtation with wrestling and actually went full force into a Sega All-Stars wrestling game, Def Jam style. Yeah, they should do that.
Oh, sorry.
They should do that.
It's upsetting how few like kind of fun wrestling games we've ever had. Even when they made The Simpsons Wrestling, it wasn't a wrestling game and it was very bad.
Right.
There's those rumors of a Mario wrestling game that Next Level wanted to make at one point. That didn't happen. Somebody should absolutely, especially if you're like an Xbox or something, or Sega, and you wanted to make an all-star fighting game, and you know that it's not going to do as well as Smash Brothers, maybe lean into this category instead.
I mean, honestly, just, take the game Ultimate Muscle, Legends versus New Generations for the GameCube, reskin that with all your characters, and you're most of the way there, So I would very much like to see that. I mean, or take the cast of, what was the Sega soccer game that we like, Mike? The arcadey one?
Sega Soccer Slam.
Sega Soccer Slam. Just take all of those teams and make them wrestling, teams, and throw them in there and make a game like that. That would be fun as well. James Gold, old Jimmy Gold, says Switch 2 is big and expensive, not aimed at kids. There's no $99 2DS equivalent at the moment. Switch Lite should be supported at $150 for a few years with as an entry level thing for the Switch. He's saying, but I don't know how much Nintendo thinks that'll be worth it, or how much they want to court that audience that has been waiting this entire time for the Switch to drop down to $150 before they jump in. Because it's like they're not going to spend a lot of money on games either. They're busy playing games for free on their phone, rightfully so. Like, that stuff is good enough for a lot of that audience. So I don't know. I think this could maybe work. It's just a very different world than when we got even like a $90 2DS, but a very different world from when we got a $99 PlayStation 1. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's the same, you don't really have those things anymore, right? There's not that option, a cheap DS, a cheap Game Boy that, could just be your kid's at least one gaming system, right? I don't know. Again, it's going to be interesting to see if there is any kind of price cut or some kind of value switch that comes out, but they could just very easily not. I think they are going to be largely concerned with getting people to move over to the new platform, even more so than they're concerned about extracting as much value as possible out of Switch, which already gave them a ton of value.
Yep,
right?
They kind of already did that. And I think if they do something like that, it will be that Switch Lite Pokemon version bundled with a Pokemon game for maybe a slight markup or something like that. So it's not at the full price. You do feel like you're getting a deal, but really you're paying full price for the game and getting a discounted Switch. All right, let's see here. Let's go to the Simon from Saskatchewan hat trick here. 3 in a row from Simon. Love that you reported on Monty Mole appropriating Rocky Wrench's act. The truth is finally out. Do you remember Maui Mallard, Donald as Daredevil?
My Disney podcast, 90s Disney, has a whole episode about Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow.
Very good.
Yep. That's a very interesting game. Very good animation in that one. Kind of a late 16-bit title there. Yeah, it's good stuff. I remember for sure. I was not really aware of Maui Mallard until that episode, and I was like, "How did I miss this entirely?" So again, it was
very
late
informative.
16 bits. There definitely were a lot of. I mean, PlayStation 1 may have already been out, stuff like that, right? People may have been caring a lot more about that, but it definitely never like made the splash that even say Quackshot did or things like that, right? But it's good stuff.
Simon says, first Metroidvania I ever played was Hollow Knight. I'm almost 40 as well. Any lesser known Metroidvania suggestions since I'm playing catch up?
Outside of like the Metroids and the Castlevanias.
What's that epic one? Shadow Labyrinth?
Complex.
Shadow Complex.
Shadow Complex.
Pretty solid. I like that one.
Pretty solid. That's fun. I assume you know about the Ori games. Definitely look at the Guacamelee games. That's kind of like a Mexican luchador Metroidvanias, and then the sequel even has multiplayer. It's one of the few good multiplayer Metroidvania games out there. I'm not much of an Axiom Verge guy myself, Jeff. I played through that first one and kind of didn't feel much. I'm not a giant cave story guy. The ones that try to be Metroid, that's always a little harder. Gato Robato's not bad, but it's short.
Yes, that's right. I think I'm trying to Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, play that one for sure.
Yeah,
that's
play
newer.
that if you haven't. I know Blasphemous. Both of those supposed to be good. I should play Blasphemous.
I've not played those either.
At some point.
Nine Souls. Everyone swears by Nine Souls. I tried it. I kind of bounced off, but I think there's probably still something there. People seem to really, really love that game. And then there's some 3D Metroidvanias like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Metroid Prime. So definitely try those as well. Or Batman Arkham Asylum. So once you play some Metroidvanias, go play those games and be like, oh my God, these are just Metroidvanias. All right, Simon, one more time. Mike, are you disputing election results with the N64 poll? What's next? Tariffs on Canadian super chats? JK, PS1 greater than N64, but just barely. Punishment for Mike losing. Yeah, we should have one.
No. Literally, multiple people admitted to just voting against me.
How many people was it actually in total? Because it only takes one for you to tie.
Right. There's like one who admitted it to the Patreon producers. There's like 4 who admitted it in the chat. Somebody else admitted it to me in my twitching. So like at least 5 admitted it.
Yeah, I got people. Yes.
You won by 2
I also got
votes.
people. Yeah, I also got people in like skidding that they do it on purpose just to see you like.
Many
rage.
people are saying.
Yeah, many people are saying. Yeah, that's what this sounds like to me.
Wow. Yeah, I am accepting no punishments, even punishments. I'm not accepting it. It's not a legitimate loss.
So they want you to lose, and you lost. I don't see really the problem here.
I don't want to lose is the problem.
Well, yeah, but like their vote went the way they wanted it to go. You're saying we shouldn't count their votes because they voted for the wrong reason.
No, fuck this shit. No, that's not the point. That's not the point. The point was like pick the best console, the best lineup. And they're like, no, I want to see.
I had people telling me they voted for PlayStation because the overall library of the N64. So lots of people are voting wrong. Let's not count those as well.
Shut up, Jeff.
This is.
I think Patreon producers may have lost their. They'll still get the vote. They may not be the one that decides the winner anymore. I'm sorry. They may have just lost that privilege. It's a privilege. It's not a right.
I still love you, Patreon producers.
Motherfuckers.
You've tainted democracy, and we still care about that around here.
I still love you all. I think your votes should count, but hey, I can't.
Am I one who gives a shit for the rules.
I can't stop the dictator.
Yeah,
God.
me and Jeff are capitalists. Like, look, you can pay me for whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly,
I don't
yeah.
care.
Money still spends here. Hang on. I lost my YouTube crashed. I'm fixing it now. All right, there we are.
It just loves doing that, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it just hates working. Mikey O'Leary says, "Don't worry, everyone. I'm back from Disneyland and only mildly injured myself during the 5K. I saw your pictures, Mikey. Looking good. I have a decent pizza place nearby to suggest now, though." Okay.
Oh, nice. I wonder if it's the one that's connected to, was it the Anaheim Inn or something like that? Because there's that one there that always has a line. I think I got pizza from there once, and it was good. Congratulations on completing the 5K. I hope you had a good time, Mikey.
Yeah, it looked like a good time.
It is that one, he says. I know. I'm so disgusting. I even knew what pizza place he vaguely gestured toward.
That's fucking
Look
insane.
at me go.
That's insane. B. Traven, you guys going to check out Deliverance 2? Looks like someone finally made a good Oblivion game. Yeah, I downloaded it today. I'm going to play it. We'll see.
Yeah, definitely gonna check it out. It's hard when a game gets like an 89 Metacritic. It's hard to ignore that. I still feel a little weirdness about it, even though they're trying to be like, oh, we never wanted to be caught in political quagmires. But that at least that one guy, and maybe I shouldn't focus so much on like what the one guy does. He says weird things sometimes, and I don't like his vibes very much. Also, we talked about this before. I don't like realistic medieval as a setting, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just, the dirty fantasy is what I call it, right? Where
And not that kind of dirty fantasy. Yeah.
You could just smell the horse shit, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah, and the game's very proud of its horseshit smell. So
Mike
yeah.
Minotti Clean Faces mod coming out. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god. But no, I still want to check it out. Is there anything? Were some people saying like, oh, the score is inflated because they like targeted specific reviewers? Is that actually a thing, or is that overblown?
I mean, they definitely did not send a code to, was it Polygon or something like that? But I don't know how fair. Listen, it's possible they got very selective, but big publishers do that too.
Yeah,
so
this
happens all the time.
Everyone does that.
Yeah.
I mean, it has like 50 reviews or something like that. So it's not like this is based off 12 reviews.
Yeah.
I want to check it out.
I don't need like what you're saying, like the weirdness. You don't need a lot of reasons these days to skip over a game because there's so much. So it's like that was kind of going against it for me. But once it hit such good reviews, I'm like, I will at least check this out. I bet it's like getting higher reviews because it's like it's doing what it wants, and I'll wait and see how fun it actually is to play. Which I think I'm in the mood for a fun game rather than something that's just so weirdly realistic. From Elgrug. If Sony announces Days Gone HD 2D at the upcoming State of Play, will Dave Shawn return, or will Mike finally make good on his threat to play Myst?
Yo, HD 2D Days Gone? I'll play that.
That sounds nuts.
Hey.
You imagine the horde mechanics on that? That'd be great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
By the way, we had an opportunity here for Deshaun to come back the other day when Jeff was out. Peek behind the curtain. The reason I was playing on PS5 and now need to switch over to PC is because I'm scared of playing a game and streaming from this computer right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I get the new computer built in the next couple of weeks here, then it won't be a problem. And whenever we do have time, when there's a gap in the schedule, I'll probably bring Deshaun back.
Yay, that'd be fun.
Does that mean you're going to start a new save file?
Yeah, I promised I would do it on my own time because that was my own decision. Dude, if we skip cutscenes, that'll only take me like 2 hours. Because
Yeah, you're right.
Fucking Christ.
That's a good point. That'll be a lot faster this time.
Adam Steen says, Mike, I
Yo.
just finished all tracks with the first car in Parking Garage Rally. Such a rewarding game.
It's a super fun game. A lot of these kind of indie arcade style racers don't quite super hit for me. And like this game is maybe not necessarily like as Sega rally coded as I maybe was expecting, but it's still super fun. It's got a lot of unique stuff to it. It captures that Saturn aesthetic very well, and the soundtrack with all of that ska music is incredible.
I still want to spend more time with that. The game that's in that like sort of milieu that I'm playing right now is Lonely Mountains Snow Riders. So I'm kind of playing that instead of something like this, but I should go back and play that. RoboCop says Robo wants his Columbros. Actually says, where's the next Columbros? Love ya. We're recording it on Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, we were going to do it last week, but the scheduling got a little bit weird. And then this week, we're like, hey, we'll just save it for Thursday, so we're ready to go then. So we're going to hit that. No problem. Should be fun. Bander SN says, "Hey dogs, happy April 4th. Now that we've seen the Switch 2 Direct, what are your thoughts on the show? Is Waluigi, Pirate Wa, and Delfino gonna be good?" Yeah, I think so. Although I'm surprised at them turning it into a hardcore dating sim. That seems like a pretty weird idea, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I still can't believe that Sticker Star is getting the HD treatment.
And they're delisting the rest of the Paper Mario series just to focus on Sticker Star. That's a little odd.
Right. So
we should do April Fools in February on this show from now on.
We should just do a show where we do nothing but talk about fake news topics with dead face. That'd be pretty funny, actually. Yeah.
All right, the Uncharted Wolf says, "Do you guys think it's possible for the best-selling Switch 2 game won't be Mario Kart 10 Horizons?" He says he's willing that name into existence. I think there's a possibility, but probably not. Mario Kart's kind of always the best-selling thing.
Animal Crossing has kind of been growing exponentially, right?
Yeah.
So it could be that. Aside from that, who knows? But, there could be some surprise. Something could just pop off like crazy for whatever reason.
Look at that. April 1st is a Tuesday this year. So that'll be fun for the Bombcast in this show.
Oh, my God.
Jedi Moss 4 says, "Just to put into perspective, what Switch has that the Wii and DS could never have is DLC revenue. Smash and Mario Kart DLC prints money." I mean, yeah, even like Nintendo Switch Online is an extra source of revenue. But yeah, they're just making money left and right because they're also selling more copies of the game at higher average prices than they ever have before for a longer period of time. So they are just finding ways to make money all over the place. Uriel Delgado says, as the thing just jumped around on me, there it is. "Jeff, where's Twilight Princess?" And then has a plain face there, or a upset face. "Mike, if a train is going 50 miles per hour and travels for 36 minutes, how many miles has the train gone?"
About 27 miles, like that.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Around there.
50 miles. Yeah. That's because it'd be 27-ish, right? 27 and a half, maybe. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see here. Chris Pratt writes in, "Hello, Chris Son. Mario Worldly OST on Nintendo Music app, but no Mario Arcade. Come on, man. P. Enos."
Chris Pratt getting in on the fun. Thanks, Chris.
Chris Pratt would love penis jokes. Yeah, you're right. Chris, they're doing you dirty there. You got to talk up. Just call up Miyamoto right now. Make it happen. Phantom 23 just announced USPS will stop shipping packages from China / Hong Kong. Is this going to pause the retro handhelds craze until further notice? Yes. I mean, it's going to, like, all these things happening are going to cause all those things to be way more expensive. Retro tanks are going to be more expensive. Everything's going to be more expensive. And there is some weirdness with how shipping from China works. At least the last time I looked into this was years ago. I think it still works this way generally, though, where countries kind of work together with their post offices and decide like a flat rate. And these rates were decided a long time ago. And so the rate that China pays to ship stuff to the United States is based on a very old, very cheap rate, which is why they're able to ship stuff here to the United States so they can make a profit on their products still, even though they don't charge a lot for those products. So they've been taking advantage of that for a very long time, but we get a lot of stuff that way, so it's actually beneficial to everybody. So they haven't really changed it. Doing this will definitely throw a huge wrench into the works. It's going to be weird and uncertain for a long time. I'm going to start a bootlegging business and bootleg Chinese handhelds.
Let's go. Fuck yeah.
What were you going to say, Christian?
Do you saw that ACA thing where they're like, "Can you please consult us before you plan to do any tariff on technology because it fucks with video games?" I just read the headline.
The ESA is completely toothless, and they have no sway. They're not going to be able to accomplish anything. So it's them yelling into a void, and the void that will not even acknowledge them. All right, Joe S. Will Jeff ever find out about the existence of a new Ridge Racer, or does Mike's friendship mean nothing to him?
It's a great question.
I still have not asked, but I will. It's a problem because you've made it such a meme. If I ask my sources, they're not going to be able to go ask on our behalf because they're like, "Wait, why are you asking about Ridge Racer? Isn't that thing that Mike Minotti's always asking about?" So they could out themselves. So I will have to tell them, "Hey, listen, just keep your ears open, and if you hear anything, tell me. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for them to ask about it.
I bet they'll figure it out, is what I think.
Yeah, listen.
All these things that you just said sound like not my problem to me.
Nintendogs says, "Happy April Fools."
Yeah, for people who aren't aware, I got confused yesterday and thought April Fools had already happened, and embarrassed myself.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
It happened to me the other day.
I'm the April Fool.
I was definitely just like, yeah, it was like, is April Fool's gonna be like, oh my god, what am I thinking? Just to myself, and then to see you tweet it, that was quite a thing. Large Mario says, "Thank you for making such a great community. You all rock, penis."
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And then Wavy Crockett says, "Switch One Direct when?" I don't know. We're only 4 days into the month. It was probably never going to be this week. Maybe it happens just next week, same time as that PlayStation State of Play. Although, again, I've heard about the Direct. I haven't heard about a State of Play. So who knows? Yeah, maybe next week. I hope so. I want this thing sooner rather than later because I'll tell us what's going on with the Metroid and all this other stuff.
Right. And, if they're going to still do a Switch 1 Direct, they're going to need to do that soon before the April 2nd Switch 2 Direct. Because at that point, it's going to be pretty hard to talk about a Direct, focused on Switch 1 games and have anybody care about it.
That does it for the Super Chats, Mikey. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, everybody. We'll take another quick break here, and then we got some questions from those podcast producers, the same ones who like to cause me so much pain and anguish. We'll be right back.
Just voting with their hearts.
Yeah, vote your conscience.
All right, break. Yeah, voting with. I don't know what they're voting with.
A lot of people vote just to hurt other people. We've discovered. So I don't know.
Yeah, it turns out it's a popular trend.
That's so right.
All right. I think I am. Yeah, I'm ready to get back into it whenever you are.
All right.
Okay. All right, we're back. We got to do a mailbag, Jeff. Pretend to be a dog and attack a mailman now.
Rough. Sick dog, sick. I'm a sick dog, and I'm going to sick him.
This is sad. He's just throwing them at you.
I'm dragging my ass across the ground because there's something wrong with my tummy. There you go.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just pick these up off the floor here.
No one wants to see this. Yeah.
No, this is bad. Beefhammer says, Jeff, E-Day 2025, referring to Gears of War E-Day.
I think there's a chance for holiday this year. Yeah. There's a chance. I don't think that they're like determined to get this thing out. We have to get it out in 2025. But yeah, I think so. I think there's a reason they talked about it last year. It's because they wanted to get out this year. I think at the time I heard it's like they would say 2025 even, and then they at the last minute pulled back on that. So I think I would lean towards 2026, but I still think it's possible it comes out in 2025.
Octo says, started playing Cruisin' Blast, which now gives me a Pavlonian response because of the theme, so thanks for that. Have you ever checked out the PS2 Speed Racer game, which has some similarities to Cruisin' Blast? Also, Grubb, Motortown Grubb Co. server. I'll deliver stuff for you.
Yeah, I was actually thinking I should take some time to get that server set up. So yeah, I'll do that. That would be a fun kind of bonus for the podcast producers and everything. So maybe we'll do that. I've not played a Speed Racer game for the PS2. That sounds awesome. I'm going to look into that.
No, I wonder if it's like that arcade game that was pretty good, or if it's something different. But yeah, I haven't played that. Evo Janice says, switch to day one launch games over under. First party games over or under 2.5.
Over.
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm going to also be over on that.
Yeah, I think it's probably like 3 or 4 for sure, and probably like 3 or 4. Well, probably like 3 big ones and then like 2 little ones from Nintendo.
Yeah. I think it might even be just 2 big ones and then 2 little ones, and that's, already 4.
Yep, true.
Third-party games over under 19.5. I think under 19 is a lot for day one. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want to be there right away.
I think that's a good over-under like set right there, 19.5. That's a good place to put it because I think there's going to be a lot. Day one. I think over because I think Ubisoft could have like 2 or 3 games ready to go, and I think EA will throw in some here's the FIFA game, just have that, and then there will be a lot of like indie games if we're counting that as third party.
EA did its financials today, and of course, they were not great. But one of the things they were sort of trying to do to save face is talking about how excited they are for the Switch 2. Sounds like they're gonna try Madden again on there. See how that does, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think they know that that's one of the things investors will perk up at, and so they have to say that. So we'll see how much that's going to be real.
Next up is Tuber. Are Metroids too cute?
No. They're cute, but not too cute to kill. I'll kill a Metroid.
Yeah, they're dangerous, except for the baby. The baby's cute, and we like that about it.
Steph's terrified of Metroids. The sound they make and the music that plays when they attack you, she's terrified of it. Yep.
Well, they're supposed to be kind of scary. Yeah. That's good.
Yep.
Screaming Madden says, hello, Jeff King, Bob Grubb, and Mike Koopa the Quick Naughty. Today, I beat Super Mario 64 at 73 stars, and while I tend to get all 120 stars some other time, it was awesome to finally beat this classic. To celebrate, I want to ask you all, what is your favorite Super Mario 64 course or world? Mine is Tall Mountain. Yes,
Mine
Jeff?
too. Tall Mountain.
Hey.
Yep, that's man. I could just spend hours in that place. I love it.
Yeah, gosh, I do love. I mean, Bomb Battlefield is just so good.
Yeah, it's classic.
And I remember
first one for a reason.
Yeah, I remember playing it the first time at the Ontario Place, this like expo theme park in Toronto, and I just got to play that level. It was the first time with a 3D game like that. It just absolutely blew me away. And going to that level just still feels totally magical. I love, like, just all the ways that level is bigger than you think. And even once you get the flying ability, there's more stuff to do there, right? Gosh, just maybe my favorite World 1 level in a Mario game. And the first levels are usually pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, getting on that turtle shell and riding around like a surfboard was so cool.
Right, and it's just like such a good job of this very open place, but yet there's still kind of a critical path, right?
Mm-hmm.
At first, and then when you get off that path, you find all these just really interesting nooks and crannies and whatnot. My chat was riling me up again with some people trying to do the whole Mario 64 is old and aged and the camera's bad stuff. I'm like, nope, not gonna hear it.
Yep, you're
not
just
gonna
cooked.
hear it.
Yeah, if you can't handle it, you're just cooked.
You're just cooked. The Uncharted Wolf says, that's one I just read. No, it's not. The Uncharted Wolf says, what's up, dogs? I was like, another one about the Nintendo 64. That can't be right. Has Jeff ever thought about making a full video about why the N64 is so cool to him? Mainly how developers made games with the hardware and possible ports like Resident Evil 2 and many of the other things us Nintendo 64 fanboys are curious about. The system deserves more respect, and I'm definitely not getting that from Mike after last time. No, I had to talk myself off the ledge because, like, I really was like transferring my anger to the N64, and like I don't want to be an N64 hater. I don't want that to be like one of my personality like checkmark things here, right? I don't want to take it out on the N64 just because I don't like it quite as much as some people. But still, Jeff, you can't make that video a bomb. Who wants to watch that?
Yeah, that's wrong. Because people like eat that shit up.
Right? Yeah, MPG will retweet it, and a million people will watch it.
I have thought about this recently. Yes, it was just like that's a lot of work. It's the kind of thing where I would want to get all the details right and really know what I'm talking about, and kind of the perfectionism of that would really get to me. But I want to do something like that, so I have thought about it, and maybe I'll do it in smaller parts, and then once I kind of build up to it, I could do a larger video like that.
I got a question for you, Jeff. A proposal here live on air.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about, because if people are in the Discord, they know that we're trying to get some stuff back on track with like the Patreon perks and everything. We're gonna, me and Mike are getting back on track with Game Club. I'm looking to bring back the trivia show, maybe in a slightly different format. I'm wondering if people would like if we do more like off the cuff, random one-off videos, not as a replacement for anything else, not like just as a little bonus. Like if we have an idea for a video, one of us like puts it together, and then maybe like if you need me or Christian to edit or something like that to get out the door, we could do something like that. Just again, if the mood strikes us, because I know like Mike has talked about that before and stuff. So
yeah, I think that's something that we could probably figure out and talk about and see what it looks like. Because I would like to do more of that. I definitely think about doing stuff like that all the time, but coming up with ideas is pretty easy. Seeing it all the way through to the end, like even like recording the footage can be easy. It's just actually seeing it through that could be a problem.
Yeah, but may keep it exclusive for a couple of weeks or something like that.
Yeah, that would be not a bad idea. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it, everybody. We'll see.
All right. Johnny Boy says Nintendo doesn't usually announce games unless they are coming out relatively soon. But for the Switch 2 Direct, should they have some games that are years away to keep fans talking? You know, with the first big Switch 1 Direct, we did have games like that. We had Metroid Prime 4, which, you know, even if it wasn't for that one big restart of it, was still years away. Even like Shin Megami Tensei 5 got announced at that very first Switch 1 event. But this time, I don't know. Like, maybe there's going to be 1 or 2 games that are 2026 games, if even that. Like, do you think we see 2026 games? Do you think we see 2027 games?
I think we probably see things that are a little bit longer than what they're accustomed to doing recently, but I think that's just because you do got to make a lot of promises out of the gate to get people excited to spend a lot of money on a console. So I think they'll have a little bit more slack with the timeline that they usually play with, but I do think that probably just goes through early 2027, and then a game like that could easily get delayed to like a late 2027 or 2028. So I think we'll probably have a game announced early on, if not in this Direct, sometime else, very early on, that we don't actually play until 2027 or even 2028.
Max says, does Punch-Out Wii have a chance of getting re-released for the Switch 2? Remember Imran Khan, my coworker, discussing why a new title might not be in the cards anytime soon. While empathetic to not wanting to release a game that depicts ethnic stereotypes, it would be a shame for one of the best Wii titles to not be ported when so many others have.
Yeah, I mean, and Imran was pointed out, he's like, and this is how these things always go. So when he said this, I knew exactly what he was trying to get at. That, you know, this is one person's perspective who worked on the game and what they think Nintendo feels about it. And that stuff could change over time, but I don't know, probably not. I don't know, DEI is dead, Mike, so they can put stereotype stuff back out.
Right, yeah, right. Supposedly, we're not woke anymore, so
who
cares?
Yeah, woke is dead, so Punch-Out can live.
Yeah, if you're going to ruin everything else, at least give us Punch-Out, I guess.
Right, exactly. If you're just going to be assholes about everything, I would prefer to have Punch-Out to get me through it, please.
Chris, Blanda Bear says, it may seem extreme, but is it possible that since Xbox and PlayStation are going third party, in the future, Nintendo could be the only console system in the future? Nintendo are the only console not porting against the PC or other consoles that maintain their exclusives. I could see this happening eventually. You know, some of that stuff is being extreme. I always think of it as like, is Nintendo going to be the only one who never ports stuff to PC, and how long does that last, right? And I think there's still going to be there's going to be an Xbox of some kind for a while still, for sure. There's definitely still going to be a PlayStation of some kind for quite a while here still, if not, you know, till the day I die. Yeah,
they'll find some... they'll be a little bit looser, and Nintendo won't be. So, yeah, I think Mike's right, though. They'll continue to have their hardware, and, you know, if it's them, if everyone else is putting games on a PC and Nintendo's still the only one not doing that, I could see that being the case for a very long time. It's just worked too well. But, you know, things change fast. We'll see how the Switch 2 does.
Right. I mean, you know, when the Wii U was a disaster, along with fast-tracking the Switch, the other thing they did was, we're going to make mobile games, right?
Mm-hmm.
They immediately looked for a different platform. And if this happens again, they're not going to go back to mobile. That just didn't really work out that well. The only other avenue they're going to have is, I guess we're going to release stuff on Steam. Now, you know, it seems like they're set to be successful for kind of the next decade here, but then that's a long time, right? Things will change again, and who knows where that will ultimately leave them. So never say never, but yeah, they'll certainly be the last ones to do it. I mean, They already are.
Yeah, they might not see the growth that they need, but I think they have some other outlets that they'll tap into first. They still can keep growing the parks with Universal, and they can keep making more movies that could do very well. But, you know, if all that stuff starts to go a little sour or doesn't grow the way they need it to, they will probably find some new outlet, and that could involve PC at some point.
Chris 2K says, hey, yo, dogs. Well, we don't know for sure yet. The Mario Kart teaser that we saw on Switch 2 announcement doesn't actually look like they're going the Nintendo Kart route this time. Every time the topic comes up, I'm surprised that people often only talk about the characters from other franchises they want to have in there. But it's all about the tracks, right? Which location, level, or similar from a franchise that's not Mario adjacent would you like to have made to a Mario Kart track? Personally, I'd love to race through all the biomes from Metroid Prime's Talon 4. Love you boys. Bye. Chris is so right here. It's like part of the reason why Sega All-Stars Transformed is so good.
Yes.
It's not because, like, you know, I can, you know, race around in a crazy taxi. That's fun. But it's like, here's the Panzer Dragoon level, right?
Yep, the afterburner stuff.
The
Yeah,
afterburner level is so freaking good. And even with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, like, yeah, being able to race as Link is cool, but the Zelda level,
the Animal Crossing level is like my favorite. Yeah, Yoshi's
Island level is my favorite. It's so freaking good. So, gosh, you're right. That is so much more important to me. I'm gonna have a hard time coming up with a better one than Talon 4.
Oh, I got it. Steel Diver. Just racing underwater next to submarines. It'll be so exciting.
Part of me is like, look, okay, you're not gonna. It's like, even again with like the Sega game, it's like, okay, we're not gonna have a afterburner car, but we can do an afterburner track. Same thing with like Panzer Dragoon. So look, I know you're not gonna give me anything else with Star Tropics. You can give me Star Tropics track. Now the problem there isn't that just Koopa Beach? Right? So,
reskin Koopa Beach though. Yeah, let's go.
Reskin Koopa Beach. Put more dolphins in it. In a submarine. Yeah, it'll be great. So, but yeah, I think that is absolutely correct. It's the tracks that are more important than adding a bunch of racers.
That's right. I remember you mentioning the afterburner stage in Sega All-Star Racing, whatever it's called, and Racing Transformed. And I'm like, I didn't know that was in there, and I immediately like I got to go play that game right now to see that. So it's like, yeah, that is the thing for me as well.
That game is so freaking good. Gosh, it so hurts me that the next racing game that they did was that much more. Yeah, less interesting Sonic Team Racing one. Sonic Team Racing, and I think it's Sumo, right? I think they're supposed to be doing another one. And gosh, I'm like, especially when Sega is suddenly really interested in bringing back all these old franchises, I don't know why you just don't make a sequel to Transformed.
Yep.
But we'll see. Lewis says, hey, Mike, did you know that the creator of Leisure Suit Larry got his start at Sierra Online on Disney games like Donald Duck's Playground and Winnie the Pooh and the 100-Acre Wood for the Commodore 64. Sierra went on to lose the Disney license in 1986. Gosh, that's the year I was born. And he went on to rework the game Soft Porn Adventure into Leisure Suit Larry 1. Also, time runs out in the game and he doesn't score. Larry de-reses himself. Love you both. Bye.
Crazy.
Was that Al Lowe? Yeah, Al Lowe. Thank you, chat. I was like Al Snow. I'm like, that's not right.
Yeah. Lewis, by the way, also recently gifted me the complete Leisure Suit Larry collection on Steam. So thank you so much, Lewis.
I recorded
the Leisure Suit Larry what? The what, Mike?
Leisure Suit Larry?
Yeah,
come on, say the name.
It's a collection. You want me to specifically talk about Wet Dreams Dry Twice? Is that what
it's the complete what?
Oh, the complete compilation.
Clean read too. Hell yeah.
Thank you.
I really liked the way he said that, and he was so sad to say it. That was nice.
It's like a soul dive mid-sentence. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. The reaction to Mike opening that gift is on the Discord if you want to look it up.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Liz.
Just being a young kid playing my Nintendo, my brother built his first PC, and then one of the first games he got, my older brother, he was like 10 years older than me, 12 years older than me, got Leisure Suit Larry, and I'm like, what? They can't. This is not allowed. Like, what?
We're going to jail.
Yeah, we're going to jail. What country did you import this from? Because clearly it wasn't in a United States game. I was like so confused.
Michael Riley says, Jeff, you son of a bitch. I know you knew about Ridge Racer 64 coming to NSO, and I demand answers for what's next. JD Camp. Oh, that's a different one. There's a thing missing there. Sorry. Yes, Jeff, you son of a bitch. Why did you hold out on not just me, but all of us, the people?
I just didn't want to break your hearts in case they decided at the last minute that you weren't ready for it. These things, moving parts. I just didn't want to hurt you, bud.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that. Very considerate.
What's next is Ridge Racer 64 2.
Oh, shit, dude. I can't wait.
That's the one.
JD Camp says, can we get a feature on Giant Bomb where Jan plays through my stop smoking coach, Alan Carr's Easy Way on the DS?
Yes, you can. I will make this happen. That sounds incredible. I forgot about that.
He was supposed to already quit, right?
Yeah, he hasn't said anything about 10-minute breaks recently, so.
Okay, so we'll check in.
Yeah, we'll check.
Don't worry. Lenny Cool Dick Denver says, hey, Mike, the Italian werewolf Minotti and Jeff has 7 kids, works with 5 of them Grubb. With 2025 being Mario's 40th birthday, oh geez, and Mario Day being just over a month away, what's the most disappointing thing that Nintendo can do for this? Mario 35 is back, but not updated for 40 people. New Super Mario Bros. Collection, putting Mike in a literal jail.
Oh, that wouldn't be disappointing. God, disappointing. I don't know. You know what?
They can do nothing.
Doing nothing. Well, doing nothing would almost be less disappointing than like, here's a new way to play Mario Arcade again. Sorry, Chris Pratt.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah.
40
so years,
40 years, huh? Damn. Joycey says, "Hey Jeff, can you let Mike know that Monkey D. Luffy is it Luffy or Luffy?
I think it's Luffy.
From one
Luffy.
There's no way to know
Monkey
for sure.
D.
I don't know any
Luffy.
experts that have watched this show, so I think it's probably Luffy.
Excuse me?
Let Mike know
I'm
that
gonna kill
Monkey
you.
is the captain of the Straw Hat Pirates and ate the gum fruit, which turned him into a rubber man. Thanks. Oh, that's why he's a rubber man.
Mm-hmm. That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
I thought
Who's
it's
your
because he
favorite
went to space.
rubber character?
I mean, I like Dalzim. I don't know how to say his name, but
Oh,
that's
Dawson's a good
pretty
one.
He's not rubber. He just
Yeah.
stretches, but that's
yeah, but he
it's
did
pretty-
yoga
it's
so
the
good he
same
turned
thing.
his body into rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Not
it because
picking
it's a stereotype.
Yeah. Not picking speaking of stereotypes, we're not picking the Pixar mom though.
Okay, that's shit. All right, that did not occur to me,
Elastic
and it
Cup?
should have.
Always Be Clothing says, "Dear Jeff Graham Dango and Mitchid Minotti, what are your thoughts on the Star Wars planet Gargalon?" I think I always get this one mixed up with Camino. But do you like Gargalon, Jeff, from Star Wars?
Gargle these nuts! You're not
Shit,
gonna
I
get
thought I
me.
could get you.
You're not.
I
I
thought
saw
I could
your
get you.
face. I saw your face.
Damn it, I thought I would get him. I was playing it up, everyone. I was playing it up. Shit.
I was like, there's no way he doesn't know this one. Come on, what? And he's like, he thinks this is a shoot Star Wars planet. And then I saw your face. I'm like, okay.
So they did
Tell
get
him,
me with
Mike.
this on my stream where somebody was like, "Hey Mike, what's your favorite Star Trek planet?" Mine is Gargalon 4. And I just was like, I don't remember Gargalon 4. And then I sincerely answered the question for like 10 minutes, just talking about a bunch of Star Trek planets until somebody was finally like, Gargalon these nuts. And I was defeated.
Oh man, you're having a rough one, huh?
Gargalon D. So it was even better. Gargalon D.
That's really
Damn.
good. 10 minutes, huh?
Maybe more like 5.
Still.
Maybe 10.
5, more like
Quite a
5.
while.
Yeah.
I have a lot of opinions on Star Trek planets. There's a lot of good ones.
You ever hear the story
CD
about
Alpha
the
5.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, that's a good planet. You ever hear the story about how God, now his name's the moth joke? Fucking what's his name was told on Conan about how they like told him before the break. Like, hey, we're gonna have you're gonna be back on this next segment.
Norm Macdonald.
Yeah,
right?
Norm Macdonald.
You made me brain farted too.
I know.
all of
I
a
wanted to
sudden.
say
Oh
Neil
my God.
McDonald, and I'm like, well, that's just wrong. And they just told him like right before the commercial break, and we'll be back with more Norm after this. He's like, what? No, I don't have anything else prepared. And so he's like, well, how long is it going to be? And he's like, I have that moth joke. I'm hoping and that's 20 seconds. So I hope he's going to say about 20 seconds. It's like 7 minutes. So he's like, I just made the joke go for 7 minutes. And that was like the whole thing there is he had heard that joke before and just stretched out to 7 minutes to fill up time for Conan O'Brien. Like, that's
Incredible.
pretty impressive.
That's fun stuff. Anyways, that's I love playing Silence Chicken with you. It's my favorite
it's a
thing.
good time.
It's a good bit. That's it for the mailbag here. Let's take one more break. We'll talk about some games we've been playing, see if there's any more super chats to clean up, and then we'll get out of here. Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna edit out that silence. You're gonna sound like crazy people.
They like when we sound like crazy people.
It's a good silence.
It's funny. Don't work hard. Don't work harder.
What if-
Come on.
What if it's funnier if you just started laughing out of nothing?
Then we'll sound like crazy people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now I'm gonna let it in. I always
Alright.
let it.
Let's we can just get back to it.
Yep, I'm ready.
All right.
All right, we're back. Hey Jeff, I was playing Ridge Racer 64.
Yeah, I was too a little bit. I actually played on the Shoot 64 for a while there. Yeah.
Shit, aren't you special?
Uh-huh.
It's funny. I never actually played Ridge Racer 64 before, or Ridge Racer DS, which is just a port of Ridge Racer
Yes.
64.
That's right.
But so it's interesting. Hey, you know what? It's fun. It's Ridge Racer. It doesn't feel as good as Type 4. It's definitely not as smooth and has the incredible UI and presentation, right? Like even the intro, because they can't do full motion video. It's kind of like a slideshow with some. Yeah, it's like, oh, this isn't quite as nifty, huh? But you still have the Ridge Racer tracks in there. You still have the drifting and whatnot. It still feels enough like Ridge Racer that I'm glad to have it for sure.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like it held up better than I thought it would. It's pretty far away from Type 4, but it's still good. It's still like, but there were so many racing games on the N64. You could see why at the time people were like, well, don't get that one if you're gonna play Ridge Racer. Stick with PlayStation, and then if you're on 64, get Beetle Adventure Racing, which is the correct answer there. But it's still nice to see Ridge Racer back in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, I was playing that as well.
But what I really been spending a lot of time with was Echoes of Wisdom. I think I talked about diving back into that, and I finished it just over the weekend. Right, finally beat that one. I ended up liking it quite a bit, especially the bosses. The bosses in the game are actually really good in general. The pace definitely does pick up a little bit. Like those first two dungeon areas, some of the preamble stuff there is kind of a little long-winded with the Gerudo girl and then with the Zora chiefs, right? But yeah, the pace picks up a bit. I like being in those rifts, and they're basically almost kind of like platforming challenges. Like, hey, there's just 5 of these orbs in here. Find out how to get to them. Figure it out. And yeah, like I have maybe 4 spirits that I do end up using a lot, but I still kind of have to think about how I am going to use them. And that feels good enough for me. And, even the combat also feels better because you start getting some stronger, faster echoes at that point that you can use for that stuff. You also have more of that Link juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can use the sword more often and not feel bad about that. So yeah, like part of me is curious, like, okay, where would I rank it with Zelda games? And, there aren't very many Zelda games I dislike. So it'll probably be in the lower half.
Sure.
But that still means it could be a very good game. And it was.
Yeah, so I'm glad to hear this because I've been like, I want to also go back and finish it. I am doing that with Thousand Year Door first. So I once I get done with that, this is still the plan is to make that happen. But I'm kind of running out of time here because there's stuff coming out very soon that I want to get into. It is actually February now, so we'll see. But hearing you be excited about it and finding some stuff that's really valuable even in like later in the game, I'm like, okay, that gives me the encouragement to see this through. So I want to do the same thing. It's like I started that game, really ended up finding ways to love it, and I want to complete it as well for the same reason of like, hey, if I don't do it now, I might never do it.
It's also not like it's not an exhaustingly long game, right?
No,
about 15 hours or something to beat it.
I think I'm pretty close to the end, honestly. I think I got like one more kind of big area, and then like probably the end game after that.
Right, and like not a big spoiler, but it's not like some Zelda games where the end game thing is itself a giant dungeon, right? You can get through it relatively quickly. And because of the milkshakes, you don't have to go around and get a bunch of heart containers and whatnot. You'll probably be fine. Yep. Just go straight to the end. It's fun to explore and get stuff for sure, but you don't have to. After that, I kind of wanted something a little quick to play. I want to play Tales of Grace's F remastered. But I was like last night, I was like, I'm going to start a Switch game, but I also want to watch this YouTube video, right? I'm like, well, I don't want to, start an RPG while doing that.
Sure.
Yes. And I remembered our music episode of Bombcast for Vengeance from music from last year and how good all that Castlevania stuff sounded from Vampire Survivors, that DLC that came out. So I just picked that up. It was running around there with that. And that sure is very, very good. Turns out you put like a Castlevania skin on something and it's just kind of better.
Yep. I think, for real, my favorite like vampire stuff, Castlevania, kind of by a long mile. I like vampire stuff in general too, but boy, Castlevania just does it in such a fun, neat way where the lore is serious, but it's hey, there's also wall meat, and that stuff's like they have fun with that, and the shows are they've become very popular and did very well on Netflix, and they're violent and cool, but they still make a lot of good not head nods over to the games. So yeah, I just like it quite a bit. Are you aware of the Giant Bomb's history with the vampire killer song?
No, I don't know this bit of lore.
Brad was like saying when he was a kid, he thought that the song had words that would go, it was Barkerville, Barkerville. And so in one of the shows, they have a tombstone where it's like a Bradley S. Barkerville, and like actually made a reference to it. And that was pretty neat
incredible.
To see,
That's cute. That's fun. But yeah, this is good. And obviously Vampire Survivors was already very inspired by Castlevania anyways, just throwing that stuff. And, that the Castlevania level is not just, a themed Castlevania stage. And
No.
you go through the castle, there's all the Castlevania bosses, you unlock a ton of characters. There's even a 2D sections you can get to. So if you like Castlevania, and even if you liked Vampire Survivors, but didn't necessarily go gaga for it, like say Jeff did, if you're more like me and you liked it, this is worth picking up.
Yep, and it better have all that stuff because this is the DLC's twice as expensive as the other DLC. So that means it's $5 instead of $2.
Oh my goodness gracious!
So
I
greedy.
wonder if I didn't pick out that Contra DLC, and I'm part of me's like, maybe I should do that too. What the heck? It doesn't seem like as quite an immediately amazing fit as this, but
Yeah, and it's not as substantial, but that doesn't really matter because there is value to having stuff that's just themed, which it mostly is.
But yeah, how about you, Jeff? Any Nintendo games you want to
just
talk about?
Still kind of, after that episode last week of Game Mess Decides, I did play some N64 games that always kind of make me feel happy, and I spent a lot of time going through Excitebike 64 again, which I had done recently when it hit Switch Online. But it was fun to kind of play that on the real hardware with the real controller and everything, and boy, that feels so good. It's one of those games where you can't tell how to play it just by looking at it. You're like, you just go, right? And it's like, well, no, they make it like Excitebike, where if you hold back, you actually go higher in the air, and you want to land even on the ground, and all that stuff really matters. And but they have complex controls of trying to make sure that when there is a tight corner coming up after a jump, you can preload your tail spin, so you're kind of aiming in the right direction, and you can hit the gas right when you hit the ground to take off. It's just so deep and interesting, and the physics are so nice that it really is one of my gaming happy places. But then kind of poking around at some other stuff on the EverDrive here or there, kind of being like, what is Space Station Silicon Valley? I've never really played this, and kind of glancing at it for a little bit and I'm going to come back to you. So yeah, just having fun with that. I ordered the Wavebird equivalent, that they've made recently for the N64. So it's a wireless N64 controller from RetroKin, I think is the name of that company. And that's going to be coming here pretty soon. So and it is for the N64. It's not like a USB one.
Oh.
It plugs right into the N64.
Cool.
So yeah, I'm spent a lot of time with that. Very happy. It was, I put in the expansion packs. The N64 I bought didn't come with that, and that gave me nostalgic feels. So yep,
Sure.
Exactly. That's where I'm at.
Right, the expansion pack. All right.
Yep.
And we're really
Jeff.
living.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Blue Retro?
No, not ringing a bell.
It's like open source software. A series of adapters have now been made. You can buy an adapter for any given console and then connect any Bluetooth controller.
Oh, okay.
So you could conceivably connect one of those to an N64 and then use the Switch Online controller. Even.
Yeah, I have the Switch Online controller. Okay, yeah, I'll look into that. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. I still need to play more of Excitebike 64. I never played a ton of it. Would you be more interested in Smash Brothers if they added Jumpin' Jim Rivers to
Yes, Jumpin' Jim Rivers would definitely, get me happy. Is he not even in there as one of those referential characters that they have?
I don't think he's even a trophy. I don't think he's an assist trophy.
Fucking atrocity.
I hope he was a sticker in
Something.
Ultimate, right?
Yeah, give me
Everybody
something.
was a sticker. Yeah, do something for poor Jumpin' Jim Rivers there.
Jumpin' Jim
I'm
Rivers
just
is
not sure.
not even my character. I can't remember who I go with, but there's a character that just has much better speed and turning than anything else, and that's what really matters in that game.
I just like the way the announcer screams Jumpin' Jim Rivers' name.
Yep, that's good. Yep.
All right, Jeff, why don't we read last round of super chats here and wrap things up?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's see. I clicked where I left off, so that means I am right there. All right, here we are. From Hitch, Demon Souls PC canceled? Gears collection legit? These are both questions. Is there some rumor going around that Demon Souls PC was canceled? They never even announced it, so I don't know. But boy, that game would do very well on PC, so I can't imagine it would be canceled unless there's something weird happening. But again, I have not heard anything, so
I don't know why you would do that. Just bring it out.
Just put
Maybe
that
it's
on
just a
PC.
reaction to it not having happened yet, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I think that
don't know.
a lot of that stuff just comes down to these things happen linearly, where the team that might have done that worked on a bunch of other stuff first, and they'll get around to it when they can get around to it.
Do you think the kind of poor quality of that Spider-Man 2 port is going to slow things down at all?
Yeah, a
At
little
least
bit. They always do.
Company's going to have to spend some time fixing that up instead of working on the next thing.
Yep, but I bet they knew that was the case, and they're like, we know we're gonna have to fix this up when we put it out because we know what the state of it is. Gears collection legit? I have no idea. This feels like, boy, that would make a lot of sense these days. You
Right.
put out a collection on PlayStation 5 and update it for Xbox. Yeah, why not? Now, Gears already is very good on Xbox with the backward compatibility stuff, but still. From Hitch, why the heck isn't Minecraft on Steam? Because
Valid question.
yeah, because they don't want to give 30%, and they never had to sell millions of copies of that game. That's one of the
It's one of the few who gets away with it, huh?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was popping off like as Steam was really like. There was that story from Matt Piscatella last week or the week before talking about, hey, physical sales peaked in 2008. And it's like, people were like, oh, yeah, that was Summer of Arcade and Xbox Live. And it's like, really, that is when Steam killed physical games on PC. And that's what we're actually seeing in those numbers originally. And, so 2008 still relatively close to when Minecraft goes into early access in 2009, right? And early access was not available on Steam at that point. So the way you do early access is you sell it on your own on your website, and it became a phenomenon. And if you have that momentum, you just never ever put it out on Steam because you don't need to.
Now they have the Xbox app.
Exactly, and
just
everyone loves
launches that
clamoring to
stuff.
keep using that.
Just launches that stuff, bro.
Ali Miracle says, no Nintendo hater and host of a Nintendo podcast, Michael Minotti, excuse me.
You translated Michael Minotti to Mike Minotti.
Yeah, just in my head.
My brother AJ has like a friend who calls him Armin. You don't want that for us. You don't want to call me Michael.
No.
I agree.
Not even,
That's
when
weird.
if you're ever angry with him, will you call him Michael? Like
my
when
mom.
somebody's angry, yeah.
Oh, like that's a
Yeah.
show of respect?
Government.
No,
No, a
anger.
show of like anger.
Oh, anger. Okay. Maybe. I think if I'm like really trying to get your attention, you refer to yourself once as Michelangelo Minotti, and I thought that was funny, so I do that every once in a
There you go.
while. Yeah.
I like that. Is it? I wonder if I am like weird as a Nintendo
Yes.
person
Oh, sorry.
to be kind of like thanks. To be kind of down on the 64, down on the Wii U, down on the Wii, right? It's like that's like my trinity of like those ones are whatever.
I don't think
Everything
you're.
else, love, but those ones.
I don't think you're
To be
like
clear,
that
64
alone.
is the best of those three by
Sure.
far.
Yeah. I don't think you're that weird for that. No. I just think that there's and because you're gonna have a lot of like allies among like the global Nintendo fan base as well that N64 just completely missed entirely. So no, I don't think that's that strange. All right, so a couple more here. Ali Miracle's back says, I forgot to add this penis. So there you go. Thank you for correcting that. Spending $2 to do that. Fogads said, Vince Zambella featuring heavily in the Battlefield trailer seems a bit rarefied. Rarefied. Is he really that famous, or is that an appeal to a specific kind of player? Me.
It's that latter thing, right?
Yeah, that. I think it's like meant for maybe
Even
positioning
investors.
to investors a little bit. Yeah, right. Saying,
like, hey,
hey,
it's that Call of Duty guy.
yeah, the Apex Legends guy, that made us a lot of money. Now this is his next thing. The next thing, Apex Legends is winding down. The next thing from that guy is here. So I think it's a little bit of that stuff. And also it's just like, that's the reality of how that game's being made. Vince Zampella is overseeing it. And so he's going to speak to that. I think that's just part of it. Steven Sullivan says, do you think Prime 2 plus 3 are now going to be remastered like 1 or just had ports still? I really want 2 remastered. It needs the standalone love. I don't think they're going to like go back and do what they did to 1 to those games. Again, always heard those are ready to go and they'll just release them when they want to release them. If they don't pop off at this next direct, I have no idea. Really,
I was just thinking that, right? Like, if we don't hear about at least Metroid Prime 2 at this February direct, it is kind of like, what are we doing here? Especially when they made such an effort to get all of the old, like every Donkey Kong Country game on the system ahead of just Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, right?
Yep.
Hopefully, again, if these things have been done, why wouldn't they be? It's weird to imagine why they wouldn't, but sometimes Nintendo has their reasons that we cannot comprehend.
I mean, like, it's basically known fact at this point that Fire Emblem remake has been done for more than a year. Well, much longer than a year at this point. Honestly, last time we talked about it was probably a year ago, and we said then it had been done for a year. So Nintendo just is weird about these things, holds on to them for very long times, and it's sometimes difficult to understand the full idea behind it.
Even when it kind of had like, a weaker release slate and they wanted to sell more consoles than they ended up doing. It's like, they're still not going to send out that Fire Emblem remake. All right.
Yep. Yeah. So it's like how they make these choices, we really don't know. Finally, Klaus says, RZA, top tier Star Trek planet.
it's Ryza, and you sound like a damn fool when you say it wrong. Ryza's the vacation sex planet.
Is this the one where Riker kind of looks real slutty?
Yes. Riker looks very slutty in a cold open that takes place there. Picard goes there, and Riker tricks him into buying a little mini statue that actually is like, it's like the upside down pineapple.
It's upside down pineapple. Yeah. Oh my God. I was on the treadmill when I watched this episode. I remember now.
Yeah. So everybody goes up to like, do you seek Duhaka or whatever it is? He's like, they're basically like, you down to fuck?
Yeah, you DTF.
Yeah. He's like annoyed, like, no, let me read my book. It's like, Jesus, Picard.
What a good show that was, man. That's so funny.
Right. Oh, then there's the episode Deep Space Nine that everybody hates where Worf goes there and is dragged there by his wife, and he hates it so much that he does a terrorism on it. He does a terrorism on the whole planet.
They just did everything to Worf, didn't they, on that show, on both those shows. Every show, it's like, Worf is the toughest guy. And every episode, it's like, and now here, we're going to prove this other enemy is very tough by having him beat the shit out of Worf every episode.
Oh, my favorite is the compilation of Worf suggesting things, often practical things, and Picard's just saying no.
Yeah.
Like, Captain, we should raise shields. Captain, we should fire.
Shut
Captain,
up,
we
Worf.
should red alert. Like, no. It's great. It's great. Poor Worf.
Yep.
Good character.
Just trampled constantly.
Yeah. Oh, we got another super chat in.
Chuck Towski says, I am doing my taxes and listening. What if you had to itemize super chat money, dollars, and had to explain during an audit why penis shows up so much? Pernus. There you go. No, that would suck.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun.
I love that.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
You're right, Mike. The IRS won't be around much longer, so we won't have to worry about this.
Yeah, it'll be fine. There's no more income tax or something, right?
Yeah. It's
I
just
remember.
theft, I heard.
I remember Will Smith one time was raising money for something about his children's school or something, and he was, please, Chad, stop giving me 69 device or 420. It looks weird when I give it to the school, and that cracked me up.
That rules.
Pretty good.
Gosh, somebody doing their taxes in February makes me feel bad. It's like Ned Flanders waking up because of the New Year's fireworks and immediately doing his taxes.
Yeah, I can't even think about it yet. I have to.
No.
I have to put it off as long as possible. I'll get to it by the end of March.
Taxes used to be really easy, but now I make money from this and Twitch and Giant Bomb. Now it's all complicated.
Oh wow, boo-hoo.
It's rough. It's rough now.
No more super chats. Back to you, Mike.
Well, that's the show, Jeff Grubb. We did it.
Before we leave,
Yes.
yeah, shout out to Joycey. Is running the Game Mess Discord Top 100 Switch games list. So go to the Discord, and she has the link to the Discord if you wanna just join there and vote. We're gonna see what's going on.
I promise your votes will count this time.
Yeah, this one are going to count because Mike is not gonna get angry regardless of what happened in there.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's
Thank you,
great.
Tracy.
Yeah, we have a Blight Club tomorrow. Check that out. Check out, if in the rare chance that you listen to this show and not the Giant Bombcast, I think you should listen this week. We had a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure. Usually it's terrible, and I wouldn't recommend it.
No. We try to avoid it where possible.
No. Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
So, gosh. Yeah, Thursday we'll be back. Game of Society. We'll think of something fun to do.
Columbus will be happening soon, everybody.
Yeah, bye.
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 A penis? That's some good fisting. A penis? It's so frustrating when the game makes you edge.